2004 in the United States. We were flying T-38 Talons out of Columbus, Mississippi, seen a few decades back. Anyways, so all said and done, it's a pleasure being here, become a part of this of every year that I believe this is the second time we're doing this, but I certainly believe this will be going on for some time to come. Overall, if we talk of aviation, is a very vast field, and if you look at aviation, within aviation, if you look at the bigger domain or the niche domain, we're counting in domains of fighter flying, which is once again few and far between. This is as real as it gets. I certainly believe DCS has made things a lot more user friendly for the pilots on board. I certainly believe the people hosting this program, Ghost, I've seen him fly. He's done extremely well in the previous session. Let's see how does he go about there. Other than this, I'm certainly looking forward to have being experienced on fighter flying. I have a total of about 50 hours of grand total fighter flying experience. This is from the Pakistan Air Force. My Mirage weapon system is basically the Mirage 3 and 5 both. Each weapon, as everyone else already knows, is one of the specialties. I was there with 5 Squadron previously, which was the source of this arsenal, but obviously things switched from there to 15, and 15 holds this forte right now. Military or fighter flying relates all to do with 2 major components, which is, as you already know, air to surface or air to ground. The second is air to air. Obviously, we will be focusing on the latter today. The aim is to introduce you to both WVR, which is within visual range, and DVR, not tactics. Obviously, you guys have been practicing, doing really well. And I certainly believe you guys have had your skill sets and competencies brushed up by now with all the practice skills, the practice runs that I've been doing, and because I've been tracking the servers by Genesis, how he's been pushing it up, pushing it down for everyone's use. So all said and done, I believe you guys will be doing really well. In air-to-air, remember, just like in every other domain, it is not over until it's over. And as we used to call it, till the fat lady sings in the debrief sessions. So that is of consequence. Fight till the end. But remember, the best of pilots or aviator or fighter pilots who are there use their greatest ability to not enter a situation where they need to use their greatest skill set. So BVR teaches you to do exactly the same, staying far away, engaging the enemy with the capability of your arsenal or weapon system on board, may it be the AIM-120C, whichever version, or the SD-10. I don't think PL-15 is there as we speak. Genesis, is that correct?
Say again?
Confirm PL-15 is there?
PL-15 is not there.
Negative. PL-15 is not does not exist in DCS, but we do have the SD-10.
Roger. So SD-10 obviously has its pluses. With I believe it outkills the adversary in the M120C5 limitations. Is that correct still, Genesis?
It is somewhat correct. It has the what you call in DCS, the SD-10 has the first shot capability. In the J17, you can have a lock from approximately 50 miles, and you can shoot the missile before the 16 can take a lock on you.
Perfect. So all said and done, I certainly believe every BVR has an anti-BVR tactic, and that is how we fought against the Vipers with their AIM-120C5s, and us carrying only Limas and Papas and 550s. So that was something worthwhile learning value for us as in an air-to-air BVR scenario. Talking of within visual range, obviously the platform matters, but I certainly believe you must have heard this phrase before. The gun matters, but the man behind the gun matters more. So whomsoever is able to employ his weapon system to its maximum capability, envelope wise, pushing it to the next notch every time, will be able to fly better, live more, and execute his or her own game plan in a more efficient manner. All said and done, I wish you the best of luck for all your escapades within DCS. I believe, and I certainly foresee a more gruesome activity or a fight this time around than last time. I understand there were some X factors that came into play last time. Genesis, do we have any X factors this time around?
Up till now, I don't think so. We've got the X factors here, but let's see.
Good enough. So that brings me to the end of my brief talk on the subject of both WVRs and BVRs. I wouldn't like to go into intricacies or tactics of it because you guys have already done your homework. I certainly believe you guys have. And I'm looking forward to seeing some excellent fights on YouTube. Over to you, Genesis.
Right. Thank you very much, Sir Fahad. If anyone has got a question, they can ask. We've got like 3 or 4 minutes before we move towards some of the rules and then the opening video.
I have a question from Squadron Leader Fahad Masood.
Go ahead, please.
Sir, there are a lot of questions. Right now I'm sitting in front of my computer and I opened your resume. I found it on the internet. I want to ask you a question. I saw your resume and there it is written, if you have flown for 4 years in a Mirage 3 aircraft and you have 459 hours in 4 years. So can you just tell me how many hours per day did you did and what are the limitations of flying hours for a pilot in PAF?
Daily limitation, we can do 4 sorties in a day, 24-hour period. It can be 2 day, 2 night, or 3 day, 1 night, or whatever sequence that is there. On the average, well, it varied, to be very candid, depending on the circumstances. Sometimes we used to get up early in the morning, first light takeoffs, and by 12 o'clock, even before, like 11 o'clock, we were finishing our flight lines and switching off for our night flying sorties. So it varied from anything 25 to 40 hours every month. And obviously not every month we flew the same, depending on requirements. It was varied. So considering the era you're speaking of, this was in shore code once we were doing H and H2, H4 and a few other DACT platforms with the F16 and the F7 PG platform. So extensive flying shore code is the heart of activity, or was the heart of activity at that time. I hope I've given you an answer. If you have more, go ahead, please.
Okay, there's one more question. I am flying JF-17 Thunder in DCS world, alright? Now what I do is I bring down my JF-17 down to the treetop to avoid a BVR missile. How true is it that a real Air Force pilot flying a JF-17 Thunder carrying 4 SD-10 will be allowed by the Air Force flight safety instructions, rules and regulations to allow the aircraft to fly at treetop level, and the pilot won't be violating any Air Force policy or any dossier from their officer commanding?
It depends on the rules of engagement and the scenario and the circumstance and the clarity is given. Let's talk specific because I don't want to take you too far back. 2019, 27th Feb, the rules of engagement were clarified by the Air Headquarters that anything and everything that comes across from the Eastern Front needs to be shot down without question. So all flight safety regulations considering your profile. Let's talk of profiles, both A to air and A to ground profile. With which type of intercept are you planning? Is it high to low, low to high, same level? aspect angles or a zoom up profile. Depends on how or which kind of aspect are you looking at. So peacetime operations, it is depending on the mission profile, you're not allowed to hit the tree top or the deck level. That is why we keep a soft deck at 10,000 feet, sorry, a hard deck at 10,000 feet and a soft deck at 12,000 feet. So it needs clarity there. Peacetime ops, no. Wartime scenarios, we have no holds barred, as I mentioned before, ROEs, rules of engagement clear. So you guys can, or the guys can do anything that they want. Yes, one thing is that they need to be trained for flying both at at all three high, low, and medium altitudes before they can go ahead and do that. I hope I have given you decent answers.
All right, last question from my side. Which Mirage 3 aircraft versions have you flown? And the versions that you flew, did they carry Raptor 2 H1, H2 standoff, which TF used in 2019 in India?
Well, the weapon systems that you're mentioning is H2 and H4. Yes, I've flown both and versions ranging from Mirage 3 EP, RP to DA, which is the dual-seater. But my favorite was Mirage 3 EL, which is the ex-Lebanese version. Used to have a Serrano 2B radar in front, which was taken off. So it was a relatively light version of the Mirage, so had a lot of thrust with its Senecma TAR-09C5 engines. I hope good enough.
What is the thrust to weight ratio of Mirage 3 on clean configuration? Absolutely clean configuration, no hard point, nothing.
It ranges from 0.93 to 95 depending on the fuel that is there. But what I can tell you, in a clean configuration in an FCF or functional check flight, I've done from 500 feet to 40,000 feet in a straight zoom up climb profile to check the engine's capability and other things within from once again low level at 500 till 40,000 direct zoom. So it's got decent thrust to weight ratio if it is in clean configuration, but it is not built for it, hence never really used in combat.
All right. During your Air Force career, being a pilot of Mirage 3 aircraft, did you come across any technical emergency in Mirage 3 aircraft? Like, for example, I read a couple of months ago that Mirage aircraft crashes happened due to cribs, the cribs that come inside the wings. So the PF has a special thermal imaging or X-ray type device which it uses on its Mirage wings to X-ray for any cribs and to avoid any crashes and cracks on wings. So what is your take on that?
Reinforcement of wings is a requirement of, or checking up of the wings that you mentioned. Cracks is a regular checkup done, maybe on O-level inspections or maintenance at the base level. So, considering what has happened in the I do not remember any wings flying off, just like the last F-86 that was lost over Masroor. I think it was Wing Commander Tariq, if I'm not wrong. Anyway, so back in 86, 87. So nothing like that's happening in the recent past. So the engineer and the technicians are doing a bang-up job keeping these aircrafts airworthy and flyworthy for the purposes that they are built. It's literally iron. That's what I can tell you. It's a very, very heavy aircraft with relation to airframe and platforms, considering the JF-17 and the F-16 because of its carbon composite use.
How many
guys, thank you very much, Nuclear, because
Thank you.
This is one of those discussions which is never going to stop, so I'll have to cut you out here. Thank you very much, Sir Fahad, for your insights on this. I would like to move on towards the next couple of things, and then we've got the trailer and the opening ceremony going live as well at Haris, aka Genesis channel as well. I would
wake up.
like to thank our sponsors here as well. We've got, I think, Asif from TechMash PK. He's one of our primary sponsors for ATS 2022, along with Tipu Creativity. And we've got Phantom from DCS World Pakistan. And we've got Rehan Siraj as well. I assume that most of the guys have gone through the rules and regulations, but I'll give a small overview. It's a BVR fight, 2v2 with 3 rounds, and round number 3 is going to be the tiebreaker with certain change in the rules as well. I'll come to that. Both sides will take off from their respective airfields. They can carry 4 missiles of any type except for AIM 9X or the nuke which is on the MiG-21. Other than that, jammers are not allowed, as already discussed and informed to everyone. In the middle where the bullseye is, there is a bubble. Once you enter the bubble or the other team enters the bubble, you'll get a small notification that one of the teams have entered or the battle is contested, and then it's shoot down the other guy. Whichever team survives wins the round. So there is no difficult part of managing your fuel or landing around. So that is the basic first 2 rounds that will go. If in case we go towards a tiebreaker, which is round number 3, that is going to be a Fox 2 fight. So both teams are going to spawn at 15,000 feet with a distance of 15 nautical miles. Before the 3rd round starts, there is going to be a small break of 3 to 4 minutes in which both teams are going to communicate me their loadouts and their fuel requirements. You'll be carrying 2 missiles, which are going to be either AIM 9Ms or in terms of the Russian planes, it's going to be the R-73. Both players are required to have a distance of 0.75 nautical miles between them. This is being done so that a merge happens at almost the same time. Both teams will ensure that the fight starts after the merge, so keep that in mind that both of you are in a bit of a formation when the merge happens. So we'll be looking at a bit of a synchronization going on before the merge happens, and let the fight begin afterwards. And whichever teams wins, the 3rd round wins the match as well. So these are some of the basic rules and regulations that are over here. I understand that disconnects do happen, so we'll go with the same kind of format for the last year. In case a team player just disconnects, we have to wait for the other team to either allow a reconnect or the match will continue with a 1v2 format. And again, I understand there are some load shedding issues going on around here, so we'll try to look for as much alternatives as it can be possible. So if anyone's got any question on this, you're more than welcome to ask about it, as you've got few more minutes before the actual opening ceremony video goes live.
Not from me. If there's anyone else, they can speak. I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Guys, sorry for getting out. I have sent a YouTube link in the AC the Sky 2022 group. It's a new link जहाँ पे वो solo demos वगैरह होंगे as a part of our opening ceremony, and at the end the official ATS 2022 trailer will be revealed. So open the link, and in the meanwhile, if you have any question regarding what Ghost has told, go ahead.
Right, so I assume that most of the concerns are cleared out. So we'll wait for 5-10 more minutes before the video goes live. I'm not sure, Genesis, is it possible to change the premiere to a bit early and start it like at 10:25 instead of 10:30?
I can once everyone is on the link, I can open it. For instance, I've shared the link in TeamSpeak as well.
Yeah, I think if no one's got any question and we don't have anything else, then maybe we can move up towards the opening ceremony. And the moment we finish the opening ceremony, we'll go up towards our first match, which is between SRP Venoms and I think the other team belongs to number 11.
If nobody has a question, I have a question for you guys.
Sure, sir. Go ahead.
All right.
So, what is the one foremost thing that is required for a fighter pilot to survive, win in an air-to-air combat? Let's keep it limited to BVR first.
Situational awareness.
Oh, pardon.
All right. Physical fitness. All right. And implying an aggressive tactics. If it is 2v2 or even 4v4, depending upon scenario, and a good weapon choice of weapons. All right.
Oh, okay, thank you. Next person, please.
I think it's other than your gadgets and all of the information you're getting from your aircraft and the supporting elements, I would say gut feeling. That might be an important factor as well.
Valuable input. Anyone else?
Sir, I think it's knowing when to flow hot once you have turned cold after the first flow.
Good, very nice. So, all points taken as valid, but out of experience and out of the skill set and the competencies gained, I would request you to remember one thing: judgment is key. Your judgment call in a situation is key, and this directly relates to a paradigm that we've come across by Tony Kern. Anthony Kern, he's a B1 pilot, was a B1 pilot, who related this aviation or fighter flying into the penultimate. This is judgment is one of the epitomes of or the capstones of aviation. So what we are looking at here is a build-up. The core or the development of any fighter pilot starts from discipline, then comes skill. Number 3 comes in proficiency. Once these 3 things are gained, you move into the domain of knowledge about self, mission, aircraft, the risks involved, the team that you have, and the environment that you're fighting in. Then comes situational awareness, and in the end, it all boils down to the J word, which is judgment. So your judgment call matters, and your judgment depends on everything that I've mentioned before in this paradigm. So every fighter pilot who has survived shot down, may it be Hassan Siddiqui or Sir Noman Ali Khan, or Cecil Chaudhary or Alam, everyone have done the same or in the same manner. But the epitome or the one thing that you can have, which is a build-up of everything, is the judgment call, and that is my take on it. Anyone, any questions on this, please?
Just a small input as well from our chat at YouTube. Then we'll move over to the ceremony. One of the guys says that aggressive attitude, that is like an important factor.
I agree. Aggression is a requirement, but also a never die attitude is a requirement. Also, learn to or live to fight another day is another requirement. So everything boils down to the judgment call of the aviator. Yes, to be offensive as a mindset from the start is one thing, but to know when to flow cold and when to disengage, reorganize and re-engage is another one. So it's all judgment.
Right, thank you very much for this input and insight. I hope some of the guys will pick things up. Right, guys, we'll move over to Genesis channel. The link is already below here as well. So shift over to the opening ceremony, and then about in 15-20 minutes we'll get on with the first match. So thank you very much, everyone. I'll see you back in like 5 to 10 minutes on the other channel, and then let's get this tournament started. Sir, thank you very much.
No worries.
Thank you very much.
Safe.
Thank you very much.
Everyone.
Thank you very much for your time.